Welcome to Trans Tea, a podcast all about queer life in the Midwest, the community, the trans choral movement, and the queer stories yet to be told. I'm Tristan Miedema, director of TRANScendent, Iowa's only trans and non-binary singing ensemble.
And I'm Tessa Tura, local drag entertainer, queer activist, and one of TRANScendent's founding members.
We are here to talk about queer Iowans living out loud.
And the voices making it happen.
So consider this your invitation.
Sit back and grab a cup.
'Cause we're spilling! Okay, listen, so I made a reel a few months ago. Do you remember this one, Tessa?
I certainly do.
I made a reel about how voice parts in the choral world are so gendered, and that in Transcendent we use high, middle, and low rather than like soprano, alto, tenor, bass. And the people in the comments came for me. And they were pissy and they were pissed off. And I was like, well, clearly we need to have a podcast episode about this.
Yeah.
So we're here today to talk about gender, talk about like the choral world and how gender fits into that, and just like the general like canon of music, because I think there's so many facets of the musical world that are gendered. Really, how we handle that in Transcendent. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, which you should be, you'll notice we have a very special guest. Say hello to Liam Shipston.
Hello.
This is Hubby.
Yes.
In our last episode, you heard us talking about Hubby. Who is the best hubby, the best trans hubby you could ever have. And Liam's here to talk about this topic with us. But first, let's talk about, Tessa, I want to talk about like Transcendent, and I want to talk about gender in, well, maybe not Transcendent first, but I want to talk specifically about like gender in music, because you come from a music background. Like,
Yes.
You studied music in college.
Mhm.
When I say like, how does gender impact music, what comes to mind?
I mean, so much of music is gendered, from how parts are perceived. I went to multiple institutions where if you were a boy or a mab or born a man, you were expected to sing tenor or bass. To not do that was very against the grain and very surprising, despite the fact that like male sopranos have existed since, the Italian Renaissance.
Yeah, literally.
Whole different thing, castrating children is a terrible thing. But the idea of a male soprano or male voices that are that high have existed forever. And then you see things like, Adam Lambert wailing up in the rafters. You're like, so clearly this exists. So why in the choral music world does boy have to equal tenor bass and girl soprano alto until your choir department doesn't have enough tenors, and then some altos become tenors, and that's allowed, but the reverse isn't.
It's gross. It's very, I think it starts in choir, like especially, and in this classical music canon, like in terms of Fox. Are you familiar with the term?
Yes.
I hate it.
I don't give a fuck.
I literally don't give a fuck about Fox, because all people do is, it's just like, oh, I'm a tenor at heart. Like, it's all the stereotypes of the personality of like, oh, I'm a dramatic tenor, or I'm a lyric tenor, or whatever, or I'm a dramatic mezzo. And I'm just like, that is not how the voice works. Like, it's not like you can only sing one style. That's
Right.
just not how I want to be trained.
It's a
or how I want to train.
It's a classification system that was designed specifically for operatic roles, and to more easily identify the types of roles that may suit your voice. It's not meant to be like the be all end all. I'm a lyric tenor, so I can only sing that for the rest of my life. That's not how that works. It's just maybe what your vocal type is predispositioned to in relation to 500-year-old operas.
Literally. When the terms that I think we come into contact with most right now are soprano, alto, tenor, bass.
Yes.
So if you're listening because you just love us and you want to hear about the transes, and you're maybe not as familiar with the music world, soprano is like usually the highest voice part in like a 4-voice choir, SATB, which is pretty standard for choral music. Soprano being the highest voice, alto being the second highest voice, tenor being the next, and then bass being the bottom. And typically, like in this history of Western music and in the choral canon, typically we see women singing soprano alto and men singing tenor bass based on like larynx growth, larynx size, how the voice develops, how the voice goes through puberty, ending up falling into these specific ranges. And that's all it is. It's just a range. And so gender really has nothing to do with it. But all of a sudden, gender in the choral world, especially, became so relevant in rehearsals because directors, rather than calling apart like, oh, sopranos and altos, can I hear you, or treble voices, can I hear you at measure 10? It's like, well, ladies or girls, can I hear you at measure 10? And same thing for tenors and basses. Like you can say TBs or tenors or basses, rather than saying guys or men. And like when I was in high school, that's all the director used.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like, okay, girls, can I hear you here? Or guys, can I hear you here? And like in choirs, that might be the case. It might be the case where like all the tenors and basses are men and all the sopranos and altos are women. But I don't think that's as common now. It's just not in the musical world. And like people are coming to choir to express their voice in a way that maybe challenges that norm of what we might originally thought about section and about gender in the choral space. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And we have Liam here today, and I'm so excited to talk to Liam because I come from a little bit of a background of working at the Voice Lab, which we're going to talk about later. But I got some training in gender affirming voice care, I mostly worked with trans femme people on vocal feminization or speech feminization. Because if you're unfamiliar with how like hormone replacement therapy works, if you take estrogen, let's say, if you're going for like a more feminine transition and you want to have feminizing hormones, because we have estrogen dominant puberty and we have testosterone dominant puberty, right? Which typically most people go through like in adolescence. Yes. In that form of puberty, right? And so if you start taking estrogen hormone therapy, your voice isn't changing, baby.
Correct.
Like I think a lot of people don't know that. I like think that's common sense now, having been in this world for a while. But I've met people in our choir that don't understand that. They don't understand that like if you take estrogen, your voice doesn't just magically raise up into some whatever quote unquote feminine sound means. And so a lot of trans women like seek that extra help of speech training. So I wasn't even like teaching these individuals how to sing. We were focused just on training the speech to have a little bit of a higher pitch, a little bit of more melodic inflection. And a lot of people think it's all about pitch, but it's really not. Either direction, if I was trying to like masculinize, I have a hard time saying that word, masculinize a sound for an individual, if we were going for more of that masculine perceived sound, we were working in like a G to D on the piano, a G3 to D4. Is that the right numbers? G3 to D4? Or right around middle C. And funny enough, for people that wanted a more feminine perceived sound, also same notes, G to D, right? So like the pitch is I think people think pitch is the most important thing when it comes to gender and perceived gender in a voice.
But the vast majority of people speak, like your average speaking range is right around the same for both men and women. Like the general timbre of the voice. Yeah. Yes, there's people outside of it, but the
pitch range is not that drastic.
Correct.
Like, and the difference, and it's more about like the percussiveness of the speech, or the knot, or like the melodic line of the speech. The prosody, the inflection, like there's so many, like the vocal cues, there's so many different aspects of this, which we're not going to get into all of that today. Liam, tell us about your experience with HRT and like when did that journey begin for you?
So my HRT seeking journey started in 2013. I guess it was before that because I started in February of 2013 and the lead up was in 2012. And
that's so long ago.
Yeah, that's literally like over a decade ago.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. I can't believe I'm a trans elder.
Truly. I mean, in the choir, you're an elder.
I know.
We have singers in the room who are like starting the T journey right now.
Yes.
Like yesterday.
Correct.
So you're truly an elder.
Yes, I am.
What was that process like?
So I got my hormones first in California, actually. So it was a little bit different of a process just because of the healthcare I had at the time. A little bit different than trying to seek out your own doctor and all that. I had Kaiser Permanente, which is the reason we have privatized healthcare in America.
Love that.
All the lobbying from them. Very cool, very cool. But I had a fairly straightforward time getting hormones. I had to get a referral from a therapist, gender therapist, and I saw her for quite a few months before I was able to go on testosterone and seek other transition goals for myself. But I started in February of 2013, and I don't know if it was a sort of placebo effect or not, but I swear that the first week I was taking testosterone, my voice was cracking already.
You're kidding. What might have been?
It might have been, but I was just so excited. I might have just been willing it to happen, but it just was so affirming to have my voice sound all messed up. And
yeah. Well, and like only share what you're comfortable sharing, of course.
Yeah.
But like, how would you describe your sound before starting T? And like, what voice part did you sing? Because you're now a bass 2,
yes,
like hardcore, haughty bass 2, basso profundo, as one might say. But like, where did you start? And now you're at bass 2. Like, what was the beginning point?
I was a soprano 2, actually.
Incredible.
So I was told recently by our new director, Chase, that is unusual.
Yeah. It's quite a dramatic shift.
Yeah.
Right. Because like at least students that I worked with in my experience taking T, because I'm not someone that has taken T. I've not taken HRT before. So I haven't experienced that. Like I experienced testosterone dominant puberty like in middle school. Well, I was kind of a late bloomer, let's be honest. Like maybe high school, my voice changed, but then it like shot right back up. So here we are back in Tenderland. I was a baritone for a while. But most students I work with, like the voice lowers significantly, but like most if you're a singer, especially, like you don't end up like singing bass. Like you're probably in like a baritone land or like maybe a lower tenor or even a higher tenor. So yeah, that shift is so incredible and so dramatic. What do you love about your voice now?
That it's really low.
Yeah, please show us some more low notes for science and things.
Mm-hmm.
How low? I don't know.
Well, is it like when you nail a low note in chorus, like is it so affirming to you?
Yes,
Do you still
so
get, like,
much fun.
butterflies about it?
Yes, it is delightful, especially when the basses around me can't hit it.
Yeah. What do you think the hardest part of like going through that journey was on the voice? Because this is something I also don't know. Were you singing during this time of like taking HRT? Were you singing through it?
I was singing not in a choir, but I was in choir in high school. Mm-hmm. And it was basically right after high school that I started seeking all of my transition, HRT and surgery and such. But I was definitely not expecting it to be as low as it is.
Yeah. And
I'm really happy with how low it is now. One thing that I kind of struggled with was I didn't have any trans friends until I started transitioning. Mm. But then a couple of my friends after I started my transition started transitioning as well. So we were able to kind of bounce off each other and learn about it together. But I definitely think I had the biggest voice drop of my friends.
I've met your friends.
Yes.
You do have the lowest voice drop of all of them.
Yes. My friend and I, Nico, who is since transitioned to male, we would go and busk on the plaza in Sonoma, California. And so I would get a little bit of practice in, and he was not transitioned at the time. And so he has sang all through the time before and since transitioning. And he actually did a cute little duet with himself on one of his songs.
Oh, that's very fun. Well, there's such a world about singing through a transitioning voice. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, even in somebody who experiences a voice change by just growing up or through adolescence, like there's so much merit to singing through it, right? Like using those muscles, training the voice, no matter what the voice might be able to do that day. And I've been getting fed more and more content on socials, which is giving me a little bit of hope in the world about like studios that specialize in working with especially like trans mask people taking tea and going through a dramatic voice change, because there can be so much fear about using the voice of like, oh my gosh, my voice might feel broken, or my voice might feel like I can't use it. Or like I don't have the notes I used to have. It's a really scary process for singers, especially singers. I mean, for everybody, but especially for singers. I've met singers who like transition, but choose not to take hormones for the voice so that they can maintain like the voice they had. If they were like a really, I don't know, if they were really big into music and really big into singing, like it might have been hard to give up that sound or give up that voice that you might have trained.
I mean,
there's so many levels of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get a choice. Because I loved my voice I loved my voice pre-transition. I was like soprano all the time, and I forced them to let me sing soprano in choir. But the second puberty started, they were like, nope, okay, so down to an alto. Then we got to high school, and they're like, all right, you're a tenor now. And I hated every second of it. I, at the time, didn't know why. I was just like, I have such a great sound up here. It's so pretty. I wasn't aware that it was like a gender affirming thing for me, but it very much so is. But so I like rebelled against my puberty as much as humanly possible. Through my whole transition, I did nothing but intentionally sing in my falsetto, like as much as humanly possible. I only sang high songs. I like just refused to sing anything low for like up until probably my like senior year of high school is when I was finally like, maybe I can sing like a 10 or 2 note here or there. But and I think that's honestly why I have the like range that I still do today. Because when we did our joint concert with the diversity chorus, I sang soprano for that.
You ate, by the way.
Thank you. Oh,
she ate.
And I think the reason I have that is because of how much I rebelled against the idea of my voice changing. Because I don't know that people know that what's happening while your voice is changing is your vocal folds are thickening. Like quite literally the anatomy on your body is getting thicker, and that's what causes your voice to go down. So once it starts, there's not really much you can't like say no vocal fold, don't thicken. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really glad you brought that up. Like to throw a little bit of like vocal pedagogy science in here, if you're into that kind of thing, like when a voice transitions, especially in testosterone dominant puberty or by taking testosterone HRT, the larynx literally grows in size. Like the larynx being your voice box where the magic of singing happens and speech happens. But those muscles literally get bigger, the larynx literally grows, and the size of your larynx and your vocal folds directly determines like the range of pitch you have accessible to you as both a speaker and a singer, right? So if you think of like a really, really high coloratura soprano, like that's just a tinier larynx, smaller folds that can then make a higher sound. Think about the comparison I like to use is like string instruments, like a violin versus a bass or a cello, right? Like the cello or the bass, double bass, is so much larger in size. The strings are so much thicker, and so they get a much lower sound and maybe a more like robust, bold sound there. And a violin or a viola is a much smaller instrument, more like a smaller larynx, right? So you get that higher pitches, you get the smaller folds, you get higher sounds. And so it's so interesting how like people don't really, I don't think most people understand that, but like the larynx that you grew or that adapts through HRT, that's the larynx you got. It's the voice box you have. There's no adjusting after that.
Correct.
I mean, there are some surgeries for people who want to raise the pitch of their voice. I think they're still really under-researched.
They're very under-researched and still
like one's called a
considered
glottoplasty.
experimental.
Yeah, they're still kind of experimental. I mean, because it's a scary thing to mess with, like your voice and your vocal folds, because they're such tiny muscles. Like they're the size of your pinky nail, and not me who has fake nails on, like smaller than that. But like there's a glottoplasty where you can actually like sew the folds closer together, so like they can only it's just like shrinking how much opportunity there is for that like low sound or low pitch. Like you're just shortening them a little bit. So you literally sew them together, and it's a glottoplasty. I think there's one other surgery I can't think of right now. Yeah, they're super experimental, and like people that get them aren't always happy with the results, and it's really hard to like reverse that kind of thing.
Right. Because you've now taken a very sensitive part of the body and sewn it together. Like it's quite, and yeah, the reverse is not often as easy as putting it, like doing the thing.
Yeah. When I resonate so much with what you were sharing about like resisting that voice change in like middle school, high school, like wanting to sing high. I never really thought about it until you were talking about it, but like I totally felt similar in high school. Like, or when my voice started to change, I did not want to be a bass. I did not want to be a baritone. Like,
and no desire to do that.
Looking back, like it's because like that didn't feel affirming to me to like sing those low, more masked sounds. That like my brothers all talk. Like I always joke, my brothers are probably not listening. I love them to death, but they all kind of talk like the same. Like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Right. Like there's this really deep sound that a lot of men like want to have or want to achieve. And I hated it. Like I wanted nothing to do with that lower sound. And actually the average human speaks within like a third, like a major third, minor third of pitch. But queer people actually speak in a wider range, like statistically. I mean, don't quote me on that. I read that a long time ago, and I don't have like all the research facts. But from what I know, from what I've learned from voice work, like queer people tend to speak a little bit more because we're okay with maybe being a little bit more dramatic or a little bit more expressive with our speech. So yeah, my brothers definitely talk in like a major second. Totally. Like there's no pitch variation. And I'm over here like, hey girl, right? Like there's so much variation in speech. But what was that like for you, Tessa? I'm curious, like because you transitioned in the chorus, which you talked about last episode. If you haven't listened to the last episode, like let's give a little callback, go back and listen. But what was that like for you transitioning in the chorus, and like how did that fit into the voice part you were singing, and maybe if that was affirming or not for you?
Yeah. Vocally it like joining a men's chorus vocally felt like a little, there's a bit of a disconnect when I first joined, and even like when I first transitioned, where like I couldn't quite place why, but I think it's the genderisms of the choral world and the voice made me feel uncomfortable. But as I was transitioning, the ranges of our songs started pushing a little higher because like I was singing and I had a higher range, and we started to get some more upper range folks, and we started pushing the ranges higher, which made me feel better and more affirmed, and I was having more fun. And so that coinciding with my transition really helped a lot. And I think the reason I haven't pursued really any sort of voice training, like vocal feminization training, is because I have such a high range that I'm like, as long as I can sing soprano, if I talk like a tenor, I'm not going to be too upset about it. Yeah. I'll just pull my tone forward. Like, I'll speak in the front of my mouth rather than the back of my mouth. Yeah. But, and that's good enough for me for the most part. But yeah, I think it's really come together quite well in terms of my transition happening while our voice parts have raised. And now that I'm more comfortable in my gender and my presentation, it's actually a lot of fun to just like walk up and go, yo, what up? And pull out this voice, right. Or like sing a baritone solo in choir. I never used to like that. Like when I was growing up, if you tried to give me a baritone solo, I would revolt. I'd be like, can I take it up an octave? Knowing full well that was not going to happen. But now I'm like, no, give me the baritone solo. That's fine. Yeah. I'll serve that too.
Yeah, it's like finding the comfort with the voice that you have.
Yeah.
And finding the comfort and the confidence to know that like a voice can do a lot of things. And what you do with that voice does not have anything to do with your gender expression or your gender identity.
Correct.
It doesn't have to.
Correct.
They don't have to be related at all. I think there's so much pressure in singing and speaking to like fit a box or fit a
Correct.
mold.
And if your voice
But
doesn't fit that, it's
Yeah,
very fine.
it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about like voice parts in chorus, right? Like I have people actually ask me all the time who aren't in the chorus, or even some who are in the chorus, who are maybe new to singing or new to the choral world. There's a lot of anxiety about, I don't know what part I am. I don't know what part to sing. Or I don't want to sing those notes because it feels too masculine for me. Or I don't want to sing those notes because it feels too feminine for me. I've watched so many directors like be so resistant to a singer saying, that doesn't feel affirming to me. I don't want to sing those notes. Because a director of a choir or a voice teacher in a very like classical rooted structured way might be like, well, you're not that, so you can't sing those notes.
That happened to me in high school.
Yes.
A singer who was a tenor 1 and I, who was a soprano 2, really wanted to switch parts like all the time. And the director was very old school and she was like, no. But I don't know exactly if it was like the last day of school or something, but we were able to switch parts and we were both totally fine with the exact notes that we were singing. Like it was not actually that different.
Yeah. I know it's
something that comes up in queer choruses, especially, I think. I mean, in all choruses, but I think especially in queer choruses because queer people seek community and want to sing and want to use the voice in a way that feels affirming. And something I think about a lot is like, at what cost are you willing to sacrifice inclusion for artistic excellence? Because if you're one of those people directing a choir or a director thinking that like, well, I'm not going to let somebody sing a note that their voice isn't best for, maybe let's be inclusive first. Like, are you going to sacrifice somebody's inclusion so that the section sounds, I don't know, like, are they going to sound better?
Are they going to sound 1% better?
Yeah, like
Is that
what
1%
is
worth
that worth? What is it worth preventing someone from singing the part they want to sing or the notes they want to sing? I mean, I have singers in Transcendent all the time. You're like, can I do that can I do the upper split? Can I do the higher note? And like, is that the absolute best artistic choice? I don't know, not always. But do you ask me if I care? I don't care because I know if I let the singer sing that note and do the upper split, it's going to make their whole world. And it's going to feel so affirming to be like, I can sing the upper split in this voice part because they can. Like if it was completely inaccessible, I get that. But like there is so much joy that can be had by having a gender affirming experience while singing or through music or through the arts, because it's a part of the like affirming gender journey that a lot of people don't get. A lot of trans people don't get. A lot of non-binary people don't get if you're not in the arts, if you're not in music. Because the voice, and as a voice teacher myself, it's so clear how intimate and vulnerable voice work can be. Your voice is, like we said earlier, it grows to where it is, and that's it, and you're kind of stuck with it, and that's the voice you have. And so we speak all of our thoughts, and all of our thoughts in our mind and all of our feelings in our heart come out into the world like through speech. If we have a voice, like if we have speech. So it's so vulnerable, it's so intimate, it's so personal, and so everything that affects the voice from an exterior lens, what part you sing in choir, how people perceive your sound, like it all feels so personal because it is. Like it's yours. Nobody else has it. Hi, gay. Happy Pride Month. While Pride Month may be over, the pride never stops over here at Trans T. Do you sing? Are you a singer? 'Cause I'm a singer. You might consider joining the Des Moines Gay Women's Chorus for our 26th season starting this fall. Rehearsals start this September. Did you know we welcome all singers that can sing in the tenor or bass range, regardless of gender expression or identity? Come on, inclusivity. You better work. If you want to learn more or join the chorus, head to our website at dmgmc.org, click Get Involved, and then join the chorus and fill out a quick little form. Girl, I know you've been thinking about it, so just join already, okay? You're missing out. Okay, thanks. Bye. Are you looking to spice up your event with some music from some fabulous local queer people? Why haven't you booked us yet? We do outreach performances. You can book the entire chorus. You can book TRANScendent, our small ensemble of trans and non-binary singers, And you can book Harmony, our audition small ensemble that is sure to bring the house down with some pop hits or maybe a sister act medley. We've done it all: weddings, church services, luncheons, galas, and even sports ball games. You better get us on the calendar because we're already booking events for next season. Reach out at info@dmgmc.org to get us booked. Again, that's info@dmgmc.org. How do you feel like the choral world, and maybe we can focus on like the queer choral world since we're, mostly involved in that. How do you think the choral world welcomes or doesn't welcome trans voices enough? Either of you.
Well, when we all went to gala, there are trans singers in other gala choruses that might not necessarily have a trans ensemble or group. And I feel like there were quite a few singers in those other choruses to the point where they could have their own trans ensemble, but either they didn't have enough resources to cultivate, or they were hesitant because of the kind of traditionalist view that it is supposed to be tenor, bass, bass. Didn't want to go outside of that really. But I'm going to pass it off to you, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, talking about gala, we saw quantitatively how much people desire to learn or want to have that knowledge or the abilities. Tristan, myself, and some lovely folks from Gala hosted a workshop about this exact topic, about, welcoming trans singers in choir and what that can look like. And it was so packed, they almost moved us to a bigger room. And then when we did the Transfusion Cabaret, which was an all trans non-binary performance cabaret, we had like walls of people, not just like, we filled the entire auditorium, we filled all of the hallways, we hit fire code
Immediately.
and we had people, like, we hit fire code a half an hour before the show started.
Yeah.
Like, we could not get from the dressing room to the stage without tripping over people. We had people standing outside the building hoping they could hear it. So, like,
Which they could.
So, like, and it's clear that the queer choral movement, or at least the singers involved in it, want to support trans folk. They want to platform and celebrate them. Where I think we've been running into a bit of a hitch is, how do we welcome them into our existing spaces and existing structures without feeling like we're de-traditionalizing, like without feeling like we're letting go of traditions. And I think, I really personally think that's a non-issue. I don't think you have to change too much to have trans people in your ensemble. And you see that with, like, there were definitely trans people in several ensembles. But I think that's where we're like kind of struggling at the moment, is where do we, or how do we include trans people in the systems without deconstructing and rebuilding all of them?
Yeah.
And to that, I would argue, why not rebuild some of them?
Yeah.
You don't need to be, hey guys, hey girls. Like, we don't need to be, tenor, bass, high and middle and low, accomplish the same thing.
Yeah.
Without thousands of years of gender locked into them.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what in that reel that I talked about at the very beginning. Like, I was like, did you know that like gender has a role in like sections? And so like it might feel dysphoric for a singer to sing in the tenor range if they don't feel like, if they don't feel male, let's say. And like in Transcendent, we use high, middle, low. Like, and most of our music that we have done recently either says part 1, 2, 3 or high, middle, low, because it's really, that's all it is. It's just pitches. Right. And something that one of the parts of the system that I think does need help, because it's so easy to welcome trans singers into the room. Like,
yes,
you think about language that you're using and make sure that you're using gender inclusive language. And you let people part hop. Like it couldn't be easier. If someone has a 5-note range that day, maybe they sing a little bit of tenor, a little bit of alto, or a little bit of part 1, a little bit of part 2. Like it's so easy to make that inclusion happen that you can keep structure if you want.
Especially considering that not all of our singers are cis gay men or even just trans people. There's also cis women who would not undergo any sort of hormones or anything, and they also have to part hop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our tenor bass
Tessa has some facts for us.
I do. So our tenor bass choir is very different statistically and numerically from a lot of other tenor bass choirs in that we have a much higher percentage of folks who are not cisgender men or folks who identify as women because we just haven't blocked, like we haven't prevented singers from joining for that reason.
Yeah, pull up the receipts.
Yeah, I was like, sorry, my phone is out. I'm quite literally pulling up the data.
She's pulling up her receipts of the data.
I was a huge data nerd last night. I spent 4 hours digging through all of our choir data just to find some fun facts.
It's incredible.
The ones that are relevant to us talking. So in our Pride Cabaret, or whatever we called it, in our 25th anniversary concert this year, we had 78 singers on stage. 22 of them are self-identified as trans and non-binary. That is 28% of our ensemble
that is crazy.
Trans and non-binary.
That's a fourth.
That's up from the last time we calculated
and it's been consistently going up.
22, you said?
22 singers are self-identified as trans or non-binary.
That is literally more than a fourth.
Yeah, it's 28% of the entire ensemble. And then if we include cisgender women in a wider net, to say, you know, what is our percentage of singers who are not cisgender men? That's 36%.
That is crazy.
Yeah, 36% of our ensemble, of our tenor-based ensemble, are not cisgendered men.
And so when you go to find music, like how is music written on J.W. Pepper? SATB, TTB, SAB, SSAA, TTBB. Like there's no music written for our voice parts.
No.
That's the struggle that I think, that's probably the greatest struggle of this conversation that we're experiencing right now. And something that TRANScendent we experience every time I look for music. Because if I'm following maybe like standard nomenclature of voice parts, I really need ATB. Yeah. I need alto tenor bass music.
Correct.
Can you find me a composer who writes alto tenor bass music? Because
there are
you won't.
Few.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's not many.
Yeah, there's a few, consistent. But like on the mainstreams of JW Pepper,
they're not on JW Pepper.
Leonard,
they're on like newmusicusa.com.
Yeah, or it's like music written especially for trans ensembles or for us,
which we've
like,
been doing.
Or I have to get it custom arranged, right? Because that music just doesn't exist. And I understand from a lens of like, yes, a majority of choruses probably don't have that voice type set up, right? But hello, choirs are growing. We need more music. We need more writers. I mean, I can't compose worth shit, so it's not gonna come from me. I also don't arrange.
Correct. That's not my cup of tea.
Sibelius, I'm not friends with. We are not close. We are not even like related.
I did a couple compositions in college, and none of them were vocal.
Yeah, I did like the 4-part writing for theory class, but that's about as far as I go.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like there's not alto tenor bass music. So guess what that means for me? We either have to get music arranged for us, specifically, or I have to end up like cutting a score all up, which is illegal. Might I add? I've done it. Maybe I shouldn't post this, but I mean, choir directors have all done it.
Every choir director
has done it. Like I have to remap a little bit to make it work because the music, the structure of what's been given to us doesn't fit the people I have in front of me. And I mean, in the chorus, a third of our singers are not cis men. And we have many voices in the room that are more of a treble voice, probably, who would benefit from singing like SSAA rep or SSA rep.
Absolutely. But we don't really have.
Yeah.
I mean, so the argument is that they knowingly joined a tenor bass choir.
Yeah.
So like they are aware that they're going to have some moments where they're either flipping up an octave or they're faking some notes. But they do it because they want the community. And we don't have an SSAA ensemble. There is
well,
no
not yet.
Well, not yet. We don't have.
I think it's coming soon.
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
I really do.
Like, we don't have a treble ensemble, like a treble LGBT ensemble. We do have the Des Moines Diversity Chorus.
Yeah.
But historically, they have rehearsed on the same night as us, which makes it quite difficult if you are somebody who wants the community that you found in the gay men's chorus, but also want to sing like soprano or alto, like a, you know, SSAA music. I mean, we had the one concert at our Pride Cabaret. We did a treble ensemble, and I think that went really well.
Yeah.
We did Dear Mr. President, and it was really pretty.
Yeah.
And
We have some beautiful voices in the room.
We have gorgeous voices who would love
in
to.
all ranges.
Exactly. And I'll keep pushing for it until it happens. Like,
Yeah.
I'll run it, Chase. I can't believe I said that out loud, but I'll at least run it in the interim.
I know it's in his plans. Like,
Absolutely.
it's totally like the Des Moines Gay Men's Chorus will probably launch a treble ensemble like soon in the near future, just because out of necessity. I think we really need it. What resources do you feel like would have been helpful? Like even Liam, thinking back to like the process of the voice change, like what resources would have been helpful to have that maybe you didn't even know were out there or that don't exist?
Vocal training. 100%. I think it probably would have saved me kind of limping my way through the first 5 years of my transition vocal wise.
Yeah.
I really feel like I struggled with singing in the gay men's chorus for the first like year or so, just because I was completely out of practice.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't really worked on my singing voice or anything like that. And I started as a baritone because I was like, I don't know, I guess I don't think I can sing tenor, but I think I can sing baritone, not realizing that the chorus is very influenced by musical theater, which is very high.
Yeah. Baritone, more like baritoner too. is what the baritone line is, especially in pop music.
Any musical or pop, absolutely.
And so I remember I came to you for a voice lesson once, and you were like, why don't we just test your range really quick? And I was not a baritone.
Yeah.
After, I don't know, maybe a year.
I can probably remember my face. My face was probably something like gooped. The jaw dropped.
Yeah. Wow. And I feel like I'm more confident in my speaking voice after practicing singing.
Oh, yeah.
Often with the gay men's chorus. And I don't know. I'm still interested in pursuing some vocal trainings just because my voice is very gay, which, you know, it's fine most of the time. It's very hard to hide at work.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just don't know how to do it. And I go
do you
back
feel like
and
you make adjustments at work?
Sometimes. I don't lilt my voice quite as much, but I go back and forth about wanting to have the option of sort of being more stealth in terms of my voice, or whether I just don't care what people think. Sometimes it puts me in danger, I think, but I mean, I work in the trades, so
it's such a complicated world.
My
God, I worked with so many speakers when I did like voice care, like speech training, and like maybe a week would go by and like think maybe there was a goal that week of I go out into the world and have a conversation with somebody that you don't know for 5 minutes and practice some of these tools you've been trying, like practice this pitch range or practice this kind of melodic speech. And there's so much fear and anxiety around that. Like using the voice at all can be super scary. It can be outing. It can be too personal. It can be unsafe. It's scary out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, so while I'm very confident in my voice now, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm confident in my voice in the queer world that I have built.
Totally.
You know, in the fact that the vast majority of people I talk to on a day-to-day basis are queer. When I was working in corporate, my voice did get me in trouble. Like, it would get me harassed by customers. Like, I would have people intentionally misgender me pretty regularly. Some of them knew me pre-transition and then just refused to get with the times despite being physically in front of me.
Mhm.
Yep.
But a lot of them didn't know me, and they would make snap judgments based on either what my voice was doing that day, how long my hair was.
Mhm.
If I wasn't wearing a dress, like if I wore pants, instantly was a man, no matter what I did.
You're kidding.
I could talk up here. Like I would introduce myself up here, like, "Hi, it's Aria. Nice to meet you." They'd be like, "How you doing, sir?"
You're kidding.
No, like that happened every week.
Constantly.
So like, yeah, there are several times I would come home sobbing
Oh yeah.
because I just had a horrible day of, getting misgendered 30 times. And it's not anybody else's job to validate me, yada, 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 yada. I'm not looking for that. But that doesn't make it not suck when it happens.
It's not miserable.
Right. So there are times I wish I'd done some voice training, and I still might. Like, there's nothing stopping me.
Yeah.
But like, I know what the tools are. It's just
Mhm.
whether I want to take the time to apply them or not.
Yeah.
Because I sound just like my mom.
Yeah.
Like, I sound like my mother, a cis woman. I shouldn't have to do anything about that.
Mhm.
Like, you're making
Yeah.
assumptions on me is not my fault.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever get into any kind of voice work as it relates to gender, gender is so rooted into sound, into voice. There's actually, I'll link below. It's called Meet Q. It's the genderless voice assistant, is what it's
Mm.
called.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it still does it, but like you used to be able to play it and then you could like manually raise or lower the pitch of it. And then you would test like not a test, but like a tool we used in training was to see like, when do you feel like the sound started to be perceived as feminine in terms of pitch? And then maybe when did the sound become perceived as masculine to your ears? Just because we grow up from a young age, like we get trained on sir and ma'am based on the sound we hear come out of somebody's mouth. Like it is so structural. I don't even know if it will ever change, but it's so structural on a phone call, meeting a stranger in person, right? And like I pretty much avoid exclusively saying like sir or ma'am or like gendered greetings to
That's
people
because
now
honorifics are useless. And
yeah,
they
it's
don't
totally
matter.
useless. It's totally useless, but it's just so interesting. Like I'm going to link it and see if it still does that, has that option. But like it's called Meet Q, the genderless voice assistant. And like, what does that mean? What's a genderless voice? I mean, like, I don't know what that means. And I've had some people be like, well, is a non-binary voice just in the middle? I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, no,
Oh my God.
that has nothing to do with any of this. And like I said before, like, it doesn't matter what your voice sounds like. It has nothing to do with it. It can for you. Like if you want your voice to be perceived a certain way, yeah, it can be everything. But I wish we lived in a society where it didn't matter. And I think that's the beauty of singing in the chorus. You get to show up with the voice that you have and just get to use it and sing and forget about it for a moment. Like I'm just going to use this beautiful gift I have of a voice and sing my little heart out. And it doesn't matter what I sound like.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything else that we need to share about like gender as it relates to voice parts, the transition? I mean, this is such a rich topic, clearly. And there's actually, there used to be not a lot of writing on this topic in like the Journal of Voice, Journal of Singing, which are two pretty notable academic journals about voice work. Journal of Singing is more like practice methodology focused, and Journal of Voice is more of like the science behind voice study and singing. And like when I was going through grad school in 2018, 2019, 2020, the research out there was slim pickings. Oh my gosh, slim pickings. It was, Tessa, I think I've told you multiple times, like my trans student blank, like that was the title of an article. Right. And the only article about a trans voice in the entire journal was
a single case study.
Yeah, a single case
you
study.
Training your one voice student.
Yeah, with like not knowledge to do so.
It was
I don't know how to say that nicely.
Figuring it out with your singer and then reporting on your findings and
like a journal.
Hoping you did a good, it was a journal entry. It was a journal entry on teaching a like trans voice to sing.
Yeah. And I mean, thankfully, like there's so much more research, like trans voices are getting so much more love and well-deserved in these kind of academic journals, but we're not fully there. Like there's a reason our workshop at Gala was so well attended because people are curious and people don't have the information. Like it's not just blasted out there. You have to go looking for it. And when you sign up to be a choir director, you're not handed the singing teacher's guide to teaching transgender voices. Fun fact, that's a book that's available. I'm going to give them a shout out in a minute. But like there is a book actually, but like you're not just handed it. You have to like seek it out. And that's really where I got into learning about trans voices and non-binary voices and working with trans singers, because I started researching this topic and went, oh my God, there's nothing. Like there's literally nothing for us.
There's just nothing happening for this.
And I remember in class, like in my vocal pedagogy class, I remember asking like, how do you help a singer through blank? Like some question related to like trans voice work. And they were dumbfounded, like had no response. And I'm like, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So, I mean, here we are years later. Clearly we're doing something right. Clearly we're in the right spot.
Right.
Because we're talking about it. But there are more resources out there now. And there are composers like Pax Rustler, like Ash, like others. I want to program some new ones this fall too. I have that database. Remember?
Yes.
There's a trans composer and arranger data. Is it just composer? I think it's trans composer.
I think it's trans composer.
Trans or
database.
non-binary composer database. I'll link that below as well, because we don't need to gatekeep this information.
Right.
And there are scores out there written for voices that are not just SADB and not just TTBB or SSA. So many acronyms, my God.
That's all they are.
I'm so sick of it. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed?
I mean, my big thing is I would be curious to see. I don't know if Gala has published the first couple. I don't know if they've published their
Journal?
journal.
Oh, the
yet.
first one's out.
The
Yeah.
first one's out. Great. I want to look and see what there is for trans voices there,
Yeah, we should look at it.
and if there isn't anything, I would love to see more of that happening.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think if anyone should be doing that, I think the Queer Voice Journal
Yeah.
probably should be able to be your number one
Yeah.
resource for it. So we're gonna
Yeah.
have to look at that.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar, Gala, which we talked about we talk about every time, really.
Literally.
Go listen to us on Gala's pod. I'll link that below too. But they released an academic journal, and so if you're into like the academic world as it relates to like queer choral studies and what we're doing, there is a new academic journal called JOCS, which cracks me up. It's literally called JOCS, the Journal of Queer Choral Studies. So go read JOCS, but it's an academic journal literally about what we're doing here and about queer choruses. So I think that's incredible. And I agree. We should probably write something for it.
Yeah, we probably should.
You have enough of a pool to pull from as far
I know.
as people.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I think the
It's
work
about time.
Transcendent has done.
Yeah, it's about time to write in it.
We should probably be contribute. We just said that we hope that Gala is the primary resource for this. We should probably
And
be
we're
part
over
of
here not
creating-
submitting.
Right, we
Yeah.
should be creating the footprint.
So that's on
for it,
us.
so
That's our fault.
We'll
get out there.
start writing for that too.
Liam, any final thoughts from you
Yes.
about this topic?
Don't be afraid to take HRT if you're worried about your voice changing,
Mhm.
because there are people out there, like these lovely people,
Yeah.
who are willing to help you.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Mhm.
It's navigatable,
it'll be
even on
so
your
hard.
own.
Yeah, it'll be so hard for a while, but you'll figure it out. Like
Right.
it'll be fine, and your voice will still work, and it will
Yes.
still sound beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
It's such a scary journey to start, because I mean, there are moments where you have like no voice, or it cracks like crazy, or
Yes.
Five notes,
Yes.
or 5 notes in a range, or
It still
less.
cracks.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Yeah, it still cracks, but it's not that scary. You'll make it, and you can sing through it. I think that's another thing. Like you can sing through a voice transition. You can sing through puberty. You can sing through HRT. You can sing through wanting to feminize your sound. Like you can sing through all of it.
Absolutely.
It's still a voice.
And you might just make 80 new friends along the
See?
way.
Bingo. Well, thank you so much for being here, Liam. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Well,
what
I'm
you-
here anyways.
You are here. You usually are sitting here on the floor or like reading or doing something. But it's so lovely to have you on camera with us and on mic to talk about your experience. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, of course.
Now that we've spilled all the tea about trans voices in choirs, we need a refill.
Absolutely.
What are we drinking today, Tessa?
I have the Waterloo. It's their like summer berry edition.
Is
Yes.
this sponsored? We're not sponsored yet.
We're
are
not
we?
sponsored, but
We're not sponsored yet. If you would like to sponsor us, let us know.
please let us know. We would absolutely be loved to
Let
be
us
sponsored
know.
by you.
So you're having a Waterloo. What flavor?
Yeah, it's like the new summer berry edition.
Very fun. Liam, what are you drinking?
Oh, it's strawberry rose Olipop,
Mm.
I think.
You
I
have
have
poppy.
that. I
Yeah,
do love
Poppy.
Olipop.
That's it.
It's strawberry
That's
rose
it.
poppy.
I do like Olipops better.
I also prefer Olipop.
The cream soda Olipop gets me together.
Ooh.
The grape is not the moment.
No, correct.
It's an immediate bowel movement.
I mean, that is
Well,
the movement, though.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's just the grape flavor, but the grape, I can't drink it anymore.
So,
Let's just say that.
so Olipop and Poppy probably never sponsoring, but we love you so much.
Olipop, if you're listening, let the girls know. No, I'm having a hashtag Aldi. Aldi is my favorite store. I'm
Love.
having the orange vanilla Belle Vie sparkling water. It's pretty delicious. So we don't have tea today.
No, none of us have tea,
But-
but we all have.
Well,
I do have an idea for the refill.
Ooh, yes.
I think we should shout out the Voice Lab. I kind of
Absolutely.
name dropped them a little bit earlier, but the Voice Lab is a Chicago-based studio run by Liz Jackson. Incredible studio. That's where, I mean, it's the place I learned everything I know basically about trans voices and like speech work when it comes to trans singers. And check out their website. It's thevoicelab.com. Yeah, it's thevoicelab.com. When I used to teach for them on Zoom,
Mhm.
and I don't know if they still do Zoom lessons like that, but I know they have a teacher referral program now where you can go to their website and they have a list of teachers that they've like, I don't know, vetted maybe. They've vetted
Curated.
or they've trained or they've worked with before that are have specialized knowledge in working with working with singers in a really inclusive way and welcoming trans singers and speakers into the studio. So if you're needing any kind of voice work or don't know where to start, like check out the Voice Lab, thevoicelab.com. Also reach out to me. My studio is open, babies. I don't really want to teach on Zoom again, but I will if I have to. If I get enough requests, I will open up that Zoom studio, but I won't do it by choice. I won't do it on my own accord because teaching on a screen is so hard. It's so hard.
Correct.
But I get that like sometimes that's the only option. So if you're interested, give a girl a holler. The owner, Liz, I mentioned earlier the Singing Teacher's Guide to Working with Transgender Singers. Like they wrote the book, literally they wrote the book.
wow.
With Brian Kramer. It was like I think it was a co-author. I'll have to double check that. But Liz and Brian Kramer co-wrote the book on the Singing Teacher's Guide to Teaching Transgender Voices. Like a whole book about like the choral world, how to use inclusive language, how to work with trans voices, how to work with voices on HRT. Really fabulous read. Liz also wrote One Weird Trick, which is also linked on their website, but it's called One Weird Trick. There's like a secondary title to it, but it's One Weird Trick, and it's about trans speech training. So it's about like vocal masculinization, vocal feminization. I have the book somewhere. I should show you both because it's really interesting. But it's like two parts. It's like a educational resource about like if you don't come from a singing background, it talks about breath support. It talks about the vocal folds. It gives you like kind of that basic vocal technique catered to like a trans or non-binary experience or just a gender affirming experience. And then like the last half of the book is almost like a workbook and it's exercises and it's literally the exact exercises I used when working with trans or non-binary people on like speech training. So it's really fabulous. Very cool resource called One Weird Trick. I'll link all that below. And the Voice Lab also does training. They do trainings for teachers. So if you're a teacher or an educator or a director yourself, and you want more of a live experience or a collaborative experience in learning more about working with trans voices, they do fabulous training programs, like really, really fabulous. They also work with SLPs, so speech language pathologists. Because SLPs, some trans people like seek out an SLP in terms of this like kind of gender affirming voice care work. But like SLPs might not know how to handle that. Like it might be new for them as well. So they also work with SLPs. So they're really like a one-stop shop. I just love what they're doing. I love their mission. They're on Instagram at the Voice Lab. I was just scrolling on it today and it's just really cute. They used to do like little recitals and stuff in Chicago. I actually never went to the studio because I worked remotely for them. But if I'm ever in Chicago sometime soon, I have to just go check it out and say hi. So check out the Voice Lab. They'll be below. Or I'll link all their stuff below. Should we give a cheers to the Voice Lab?
Absolutely, we should.
Cheers to the Voice Lab.
Cheers.
Tessa, remind the people where they can find you on the socials.
You can find me at the Tessa Tura on pretty much all the major socials.
And there's underscores on TikTok, I think.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
underscores on TikTok specifically.
I won't say that every time, I promise. I'm going to be done with that.
Eventually, I'll
'Cause,
remember.
Yeah, if you're watching the YouTube version, it'll be on the screen.
Ooh.
Can you tell I want you to watch the YouTube version?
Please watch the
Babies,
YouTube
because
version.
the video takes a lot of work. And look, you need to see this beauty in person.
I look too pretty for you to only be listening.
I look like a thumb. The only thing I have going for me today is that I'm wearing a tank top that says gay slut. I do have the arms out. I wish they were bigger, but Tessa over here looks like $1 billion and I look like a thumb.
I've even got a custom rhinestone gown on. Like I
literally was wearing a
rhinestone this
gown.
myself.
Wearing a gown. It's honestly a shame that we can't see below the table to see the rest of the gown, but
That's okay.
it's still a great shot.
It's still there, I promise.
Yeah, it's still
not
there.
like a RuPaul moment. Like I swear my gown
Yeah.
is there.
It's not athletic shorts and like N1 slides or something.
Hey, don't talk about what's under the
Damn.
gown. That's rude.
Called out. You can find me on Substack at Tea with Tristan. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook at Tristan Miedema. And you can also book a time, like book a lesson with me if you're local. There's a link in my bio on my Instagram.
And if enough of you do it, he'll open up the Zoom studio again.
Yeah, if I get trans bullied enough, maybe I'll consider.
I can do that.
Yeah. Well, be sure to tag someone below who needs this podcast or share it with somebody that you love and that needs to hear about the transes. Even if they're not into the choral world, I think it's just interesting to learn stories and hear more about the choral experience and the queer experience, because I think we have a really fun lens to share about the queer community through our art stuff. Well, thanks for listening. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Tessa.
And I'm Liam.
Until next time, keep your cup full.
Because we've got plenty more to spill. Bye.
Bye.